Hello, loved ones. This is Matt Stevens, and I hope you're doing super fantastic. And big buzzword these days, I suppose, is disclosure, right? I mean, I can drop a slew of buzzwords on you right now, and I probably will. I mean, whatever. I mean, you know, but disclosure is a big to do right now. And it's kind of come to a head, I believe, only because of the Disclosure Day movie from Steven Spielberg, which I have yet to see. I'm not a big movie goer. I'm just not. I used to be, but anyway, I'll see it. I will. And I'm sure that its production quality is fantastic. I mean, I have no doubt. But it's like, do you really think that disclosure is going to look like that, right? It's like I talk about the nature of reality a lot, and I will continue to do so. And I will also continue to dig a little deeper into the nature of this realm, of this reality, this construct. There's another buzzword for you. But it's like that is part of it, right? Whatever it is. You see, for the longest time, people thought it was space aliens, right? That they were going to come from Zeta Reticuli or maybe the Pleiades or Sirius, somewhere. They were flying in from outer space. And that has thankfully gone away, but it's still, the question is still there. What are these things? What are these experiences? And never mind what the government are putting out. I mean, it's really kind of lame. In fact, it's insulting. Because it's like they're putting out all these videos from these FLIR cameras from the military and all that, saying that this is what we've got. And it's like, if that's the best you got, then we may as well just stick with civilian evidence. Because I've seen some civilian evidence that's, and granted, a lot of it's probably faked. However, not all of it. And as I've said, if one of these stories is true, if just one of these experiences, if one of these sightings of a UFO, I'm sorry, I'm old school, I'll go with UAP if you want to, whatever. But if just one of those is true, then wow, that's really something. Okay? Because it's like forever the question has been, are we alone in the universe? And I'm like, well, I'm past that. At this point, we're questioning what is the universe, right? Exactly what is it? We're also past what we see in the telescopes and things like that. Now, the James Webb telescope, James Webb Space Telescope, it's beautiful. The photos coming out of that thing, it's amazing, right? Now, they always tell you that, well, this is, color added for effect, right? It's an artist's rendition of this, or we've added color for that so that you can see the differences, so that you can see the subtleties in clouds out in space and things like that. But it's like this realm is very, very complex. It's like I've mentioned Charles Fort before, and how he has, I don't know, hundreds for sure, maybe even thousands of documented cases of things, be it frogs or insects or stones, just all kinds of stuff, just falling out of the sky, out of the clear blue sky, right? All of these things just falling out of the sky. Falling from where? It's the clear blue sky in some cases. In other cases, it may coincide with a snowfall. Like, for example, there have been many cases of worms, very odd worms that we've never seen before, that you could possibly say are alien to us. At least we're not familiar with we're not familiar with them. Never seen them before. Falling with snow. It's like, yeah, we had a big snowfall overnight, and that's fine. But also, along with the snow, were these very odd little black worms. I mean, that's kind of creepy, yes, but it's also like, well, okay, where did they come from? Right? I mean, these cases have happened. There have been cases of frogs falling from the sky, and yes, we know people can say, well, that can be explained very easily with a whirlwind or a tornado scooping up the contents of a pond and moving it, say, a couple miles away and then depositing it back onto the ground. That's where all those frogs came from. It's like, well, that's cool, except there was no weather such as like that in the vicinity. Also, if it were going to scoop up the contents of a pond, it would be the contents of the pond, not just one type of frog. All at the same age group, but the same, I guess, developmental stage, right? These kind of things have happened. And then I look at Jacques Vallée's book, Passport to Magonia, and he's talking about Magonia is this region somewhere in the sky, right? Where, and it's speculated that that's where the fairy folk and whatever else, maybe space aliens, whatever the case, may be coming from. I mean, it's all speculation. But my point to you, dear loved one, is that there's so much to this realm that we cannot explain. And science just flat out ignores it. Why? Because they can't explain it. And also because it will probably fly in the face of things that they have attempted to explain. For example, how do you explain things just falling out of the clear blue sky if you expect us to believe that there is nothing going on above our heads that you haven't told us? This world is very, very strange, especially when we buy into all the science and everything everybody has ever told us, especially when we buy into the archaeology, the anthropology, the astrology, or astronomy. Yeah. Throw astrology in there too. But when we buy into this realm being exactly as it's being presented to us, those things can't happen. They just can't. So, where's it coming from? Right? I mean, if we were to get out of here and realize, and I'm getting to that too in a minute, dear loved one, but if we were to get out of here and realize that, wow, that world was totally not what I expected. It was totally a construct in mind, or dare I say even in a computer. I know a lot of people don't like that. They don't like to think of it as some kind of technological programmed reality that we have inserted ourselves into so that we could have these experiences. But either way, whatever it is, if it is purely mental, which I do kind of side with the Hermeticists on that, I do believe that this is a mental construct, but whatever. Because if it's not, if it is technological, okay, fine. On the outside of that, it's mental. At some point, as I've said many times, when we peel the layers back, we just peel all the layers. We start here and we keep peeling away the layers. If we peel it all the way back to where it originated from, we would eventually get back to mind. We would eventually get back to that I am. When mind had that realization, when mind realized I exist, I am thinking, I am creating inside my mind, right? It would be, if you really meditate on that and realize, what if you suddenly woke up and realized that you are thinking? You don't know where you are. You can't, all I know is that I am having thoughts. That's why I think that the sensory deprivation tanks are fascinating. Because it's like if you strip away all the five senses, if you strip all that away, all your five senses, just take all that away, all you're left with is your mind, your thoughts, what are you? What are you then? That is, I believe, the base reality. And by the way, dear loved ones, if you have not yet hit the like button, please do that. Please press the like button. I would really appreciate it. Also, subscribe to this channel if you have not yet done so. And yes, but I sometimes when we get into this stuff about disclosure and aliens and space and things like that, there are those people who claim to be what they call starseeds. And in a lot of cases, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, but in a lot of cases, they are miserable people. I'm not saying they're insufferable, but some of them are. They just are because they're so miserable. And they talk about how much they hate it here. They hate this existence, the world the way it is and all that. And I'm like, yeah, it does. It is bad. But yet at the same time, they'll also talk about things like they'll talk about Hermeticism and Neoplatonism and things like that. And it's like, well, that's cool, but you can't leave out polarity if you want to get into these things, if you want to talk about that. Polarity tells us that in order for things to be bad, there must be something good. In order for things to be up, there must be a down. That is, very simply, polarity. But it's like these people, they say, I don't belong here. This is not my home. I'm not from here. I have incarnated here, but this is not where I belong. I belong in the Pleiades. I'm like, okay, out in space. On another planet. In another construct. Maybe that's more accurate. In fact, I'm almost certain that that's more accurate. And it's like, yeah, okay, fine. I can go along with that. You have had a series of lifetimes in a different construct than this. And maybe it was more pleasant. And you did come here to be challenged. You came into this life, into this construct, to face that polarity, to see some pushback, some resistance. Something you can really, something's going to cause you to learn and grow and expand. Maybe you came into this for the purpose of suffering, so that you could so you can see that side of polarity. But the beautiful thing about this construct, this realm is that when we are suffering, when we are at our lowest of lows, and we realize, well, because of polarity, as bad as this may be, that tells me that something has to be equally an opposite and equally as beautiful. And then we realize I can create that beginning from here. You see, I think if you have incarnated in this lifetime, in this construct, you didn't do it for no good reason. It's not a mistake. You do belong here right now. I mean, to say that you belong somewhere else, that's inaccurate. You belong where you are. It doesn't, you may long for that other lifetime you had somewhere else. I mean, I don't know how to respond to that, but I'm not going to patronize you and act like you're that we're just going to let that go. We're just going to let that go, dear loved one. But I mean, there is so much here. There's so much beautiful, just beauty here. There's so much beautiful nature here. Food is amazing. You are able to nurture relationships here, cultivate and nurture relationships in this realm. But I usually tell people, you know, when it gets too much, go for a hike, right? Go for a swim. There's so much you can do on this planet, in this realm, that's amazing. Stop and feel the wind. Stop and feel the rain. Stop and feel the sunshine. Listen to the leaves when the wind is rustling through the trees. It's beautiful. There's so much here that's so beautiful. And when we get bogged down by the negativity, we got to realize that's part of this construct. That's part of what's going on here. It's part of what is causing us to learn and grow and expand here. So anyway, dear loved ones, yes, I wanted to drop a few buzzwords. I was only saying that because I knew I was going to use the words disclosure and starseed. I'm like, geez, drop some freaking buzzwords, why don't you? I'm like, all right, I can do that. I even made a list. I did. The only one I didn't really get to was Maya, which is the illusion of reality. But anyway, dear loved ones, I'm going to cut it on off there. If you have not yet hit the like button, please do so. Leave a comment. It helps with the algorithm getting the word out. I'd appreciate it. Besides that, I love you. I really do. And I'll be back directly.